Hey guys, it is Thursday the 23rd and my hair looks crazy. Sorry. Um, I hope you guys are ready to jump into today's activities. We're going to review Wednesday's activities first and then see what we can knock out before we Zoom at 11, okay? Today is our class Zoom. You guys should have all gotten an invitation. You follow the link and we will log in at 11 o'clock this morning and we'll get a chance to talk together, and I am excited. We will have a few things we need to talk about in this meeting. Yesterday they released some of the timeline for the end of the school year. I do not have details on yearbooks or graduation yet. You know that when that stuff comes, I will let you know. But we will talk about your expectations for work in the binder through the end of the school year, and we will also, just kind of catch up and see how everybody's doing. So first, we're going to review our work from yesterday. Sorry. As you know, it's scanned and uploaded for you to check. We're getting towards the end of this warm-up. We just have tomorrow's to go. Okay, so yesterday, Wednesday the 22nd, it looks like this. I'm going to hold it up so you can see my answer, but you know that you will be able to look at it under the answer key file on my website. Because we were talking about Heather. She's going to this Texans game. Good for her. She could buy some expensive tickets for $85.38. She also gets herself a Coke while she's there and a hot dog. So we're adding those three amounts together to find a total. So this is just adding three money values. The tickets at $85.38 plus the Coke, which is $5.72, and also the hot dog, which is $4.38. Make sure you're lining up your decimal as you're working this stuff out. But if you check yourself with your calculator, you should find that she spent a total of $95.48. Okay, so that is the warm-up for yesterday. It's kind of the opposite of how your warm-up today is going to be. Yesterday was addition using three money values, but today is going to be subtraction of three money values, so kind of the opposite, but you can handle it. Yesterday's journal was kind of fun, and today's is too. It talks about, would you rather work in a candy factory or as a detective? You guys know that I've always said I would love to be a detective, but I think the popular opinion is working in the candy factory based on what you guys have told me. So remember, you can talk about that in Google Classroom. I will respond to you. You can talk with your classmates and give feedback on what they said. That is yesterday's journal. And then we also did an activity in our interview section that dealt with key traits. That means things that, traits that you possess that are important when you're applying for a job. One of them is being punctual. I think it's very important to be punctual. You want to be on time. You want to be early for things. I hate being late. Does that sometimes happen because maybe you run into traffic or whatever? But it is important when you're being serious about maintaining a job and starting a career. You got to be on time. Here's my activity that I did. I talked about a few traits that I believe that I possess as a teacher and just as a person. I would like for people to know that I am punctual, that I'm flexible. That kind of means that you go with the flow. You can take things one day at a time and adjust and do things that are needed based on that moment's requirements. We have all been extremely flexible during this whole coronavirus thing, because we wouldn't be able to do digital learning if we weren't a little bit flexible. So you guys possess that quality too. You can see my full worksheet that I did for myself. It's scanned and uploaded, and we can jump into today. So for the math warm-up on April the 23rd, as I said, it's kind of the opposite of yesterday's. Instead of adding these values, we're going to subtract them. So I wrote it out on my sheet here. I don't have the answer on it yet, but you can see how I set it up. And this is what the page looks like. It has April 23rd at the top. But here's a bigger version of that as soon as I read it. So Sam got fast food for lunch. She spent a total of $18.48. Sam spent $5.89 on a sandwich and $5.03 on fries. The rest of the money that she spent was on kids' meals. So we want to find out how much she spent on the kids' meals. So we know that this is the total she spent, $18.48, and we know she bought a sandwich and fries for these values here. So we want to subtract the cost of the sandwich and subtract the cost of the fries, and that will give us how much she spent on kids' meals. So with your calculator, you can put in 18.48 minus the cost of the sandwich, which is $5.89, minus $5.03, 5.03. We always have two numbers to the right of the decimal, so even though it's only 3 cents, you can't just put 5.3. That would mean 30. It has to be 5.03. That's 3. Okay, so take the biggest number, that's the total spent, 1848 minus 589 minus 503, and that will tell you your answer, how much was spent on kids' meals. I'll pause it there so you can get it down. Okay, the career journal for today is very similar to yesterday's, and it's kind of fun. I like having these lighter journals where you can tell me really how you feel about these things, because they're not necessarily the most practical jobs that they're asking you about, but that's fun. Like yesterday with the whole, would you rather be a chocolatier in a candy factory or a detective? I mean, I'm not going to be either of those things, but I could tell you which one I would prefer. Thursday, April 23rd. Here's your journal. If you had to decide between a career as a video game designer or a musician, which would you choose and why? What makes one career more desirable over the other? Identify 2 pros and 2 cons of each career. Are either of these choices a realistic option for you? Why or why not? So to break that down, here's what I really want to know is which one would you prefer? Would you rather work as a video game designer? I'm sure a lot of you would like to do that. Or would you rather write music? Okay, tell me why you would prefer one over the other and why you think you might be better at that one. Okay? So here you go. Pause it. Sorry. And finally, this is a very easy kind of activity today. All we're gonna do is review common measuring abbreviations. Okay, there's not a worksheet that goes along with it, so we don't have to review it tomorrow. But this is stuff that you should review consistently because you use it all the time. So this is what's on our calendar for today, and I hope that this gives you extra time to prepare for our Zoom. So if you're doing this in the morning, there's not a lot of extra work today because I want to make sure that you have time to get ready to talk at 11 o'clock. Okay, so I'm going to read these aloud to you. You just follow along and see if you can kind of relate to some of these or hear the word and try and picture it in the store, the measurement or the size that they're talking about. Okay, so the first one is teaspoon. Teaspoon and tablespoon. So a teaspoon is the small measuring spoon. The tablespoon is the big measuring spoon. So I think about you put a teacup on a table. So a teacup is smaller than a table. So a teaspoon is small, tablespoon is big. Next we have a cup. You guys know that we use just a standard measuring cup, and then there's a half cup, a quarter cup, 1/3 cup, but a cup is a standard measurement. There's also the pint, the quart, the gallon. That's usually what we get our milk in, big gallons. So now this kind of is going to tell you how you can convert these measurements. So 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon is 1/16 of a cup. So what 1/16 means is that if I needed a cup of milk, but I only had a tablespoon to measure, it would take me 16 tablespoons to fill up 1 cup. Then 1 cup is 8 ounces, 4 cups is 2 pints, 8 pints is 4 quarts, and 4 quarts is 1 gallon. So this is a handy chart to have by. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in our classroom we have this framed in the kitchen. Okay, we have these common abbreviations and measurements hanging on the wall in case we need to reference them, and we've used them before when we're baking and things. The bottom says cubes of margarine and butter are each 1/2 cup and are divided into tablespoon measurements by little marks on the paper wrappers. Have we seen that before? Yes, when we're cooking with butter, if you get out a stick, it has the lines on it, and that tells you the measurements. So there's no guessing, because it would be hard to put a stick of butter in a measuring cup. So it has it labeled for you. So it says you can measure the butter or margarine by cutting it along those lines or using whole cubes of butter in recipes. Those are obviously not the healthy recipes, but they're probably the tastiest. That's it for today. That was a quick video. You should have plenty of time to get ready to Zoom. Check your email. You will have an invitation from me. I'll send a reminder in the morning, I'll send a reminder. I've already sent the reminder. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Sorry. You have the information for today's meeting, but it will be sent again just before it starts so you have it handy. Sorry, that was confusing. Sometimes when I have a few minutes while the girls are napping, I try to record a day before so that you have all the information early. So, this being Thursday's lesson, get ready to Zoom. I love you all, and we'll talk soon. All right.